Connection, focusing on topics and issues that reach our communities with the love and the power of Jesus Christ.
Well, thank you for joining us again here at Outreach Connection. And I'm Gary Schluckabeer, your host. And we're here to bring the stories about what God is doing in our world, in our community. An outreach connection to connect with those who perhaps need help. Perhaps, you know, with the program that I have today, you know of someone that maybe needs help like what we're going to be talking about. And I want to read to you to open up with in John chapter 10 and out of the Bible, and verse 10, which is a very powerful scripture, of course, and it goes right along with what we're talking about here today, where it says, Jesus said, "The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. But I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly." And that's exactly what Jesus Christ does for each and every one of us as we would reach out and receive Him as our Savior, as our Redeemer. Today I've got with me Jay Craig. Welcome around my table here.
Thank you, Gary.
And with the Shiloh Christian Children's Ranch over at Clarence, Missouri, and Cahokia, Missouri also. And glad to have you. I had you before, and a couple different times. The importance of what you all are doing over there for children. It is really awesome. How long have you been with them? You've been with them a few years, right?
January 1 makes 36 years to be directly involved and employed there. But my wife and I were even part of the ministry on a volunteer and donation basis before that.
Okay. And you may be asking, well, what's the Shiloh Christian Children's Ranch? I don't know if I've ever heard of that. Well, we're going to show you a video to start off the program with about the ranch, about a 3-minute video, part of a video, I'll say. And but this is all about the ranch and what we're going to be talking about here. And it would give you some idea as you see. Nothing like pictures. I love pictures myself, you know, and even the video pictures, they can say 1,000 words. That's more than what Jay and I are going to talk about here in describing it. So watch this as turn your attention to the video as we play the video here for the ranch.
Shiloh Christian Children's Ranch was started by two men that wanted to provide a home for children, a place to be, that they could be safe, they could be away from any harm, and they could find a place for when they're going through struggles and difficulties. We have a total of 4 homes here at the Clarence site and 2 homes at the Cahokia site.
Well, Shiloh is a home for abused and neglected kids.
We pick those kids up and we put them in our house and we try to show them the love and the grace of Jesus.
So when they come here to Shiloh, they get to see a mom and dad 24/7. They get to see a husband and a wife interact. And hopefully they can see what they can become when they become a mom or a dad later on in life.
We are providing the security and the home life and the foundation, but we have kids coming in with some pretty tough stuff in their life.
Of the abuse and the neglect and the major sick, gross things that, and these are our kids. And at the same time, it's hard, but at the same time, it's such an opportunity.
With just that hope is that it will stop that cycle of abuse and dysfunction, both emotional, spiritual, psychological, maybe even economical malfunction and dysfunction that seems to be going on so rampantly in our world.
As far as the children to get here to Shiloh, sometimes it's a short trip and sometimes a long trip where roads have to cross and bypass.
When I came here, I was like I said, I was angry. My dad and I always gotten into it. We couldn't see really eye to eye, and my mom and I always got into it a lot, so we really didn't ever get along.
They may not have had a good home. They may not have had a home at all, or they've had to live out of a car. They may not have had a bed.
My favorite thing about being at Shiloh is being able to have a bed, being able to sleep in a bed instead of having to sleep on the floor.
My dad had dementia, and we hardly ever really talked.
They don't get a sense a lot of times of what a mom and dad are supposed to do and what a mom and dad's roles are. Then the child tries to take on that role of being more independent than they need to be, and then it gets them into trouble.
So I'd get in trouble with my friends, and and then I started getting in trouble with a few things with the law.
Back at home, I was always hit by my stepdad. My stepdad would leave bruises on me. My mom was hardly ever home to help me when I needed her help. My mom was always gone.
Even though it's hard, even though there's still a lot of dark, there's still a lot of things that our kids that come our way have experienced that is so painful.
Sometimes it's just about that hard to win a kid over, because they've just been so damaged by the things that have happened in life, not necessarily by their parents or other family members. Just life can be hard.
I think we just have to enlarge what I felt like I had in my growing up with a mom that was there, mom and dad, out in the country, but that mom that was there in the good times and the bad.
As far as being a home parent goes, things that are special about that is it's just this, it's a never-ending process.
To be a home parent at any children's home, but particularly at Shiloh, is something Denise and I have always wanted to do.
We're here 24/7. This is our home. This is our place, and our kids are part of it, and we become family.
And it's just
the importance of the ranch and exactly what they do over there. And I'd like to say too, Jay, wow, the dedication of the home parents, that they are giving their life into the homes to bring the children along with, and they have children of their own too, right?
They do, not always. Some of the home parents come to us with children, and some come without. But they're certainly allowed to come with some, to have some with them. And yes, they are they are amazing, devoted people. My wife and I, when we first started with the place 36 years ago, we tried it on. We provided some relief for the one couple in the one home Shiloh had at that time. And after being there for about 24 hours, I was drained, and I think my wife was too, because all those kids in your home that come from chaotic situations so many times, they want to scatter all over the place. Well, you have to know where each one is, and they have wants and needs, and it just takes very special people to do it. I always say there's probably only about 1% of Christian couples that could do this for an extended period of time.
Agree. Yeah,
you bet.
Yeah, because that takes a lot of love, more love and compassion. When I stop and think about them pouring their lives into those kids, making it their home.
Well, and it takes caring and patience, but a special kind of caring and patience. I know lovely, wonderful people that are very caring and giving and patient, but they couldn't do this at any age. And so it just takes a special, custom-made person that the Lord has brought out of a mold to do this type of thing.
Well, and when I stop and think, I look at you and your wife, how long you have been with them. And the home parents, I know they have been there quite a few years, continuing to nurture these children, right?
Yes. The couple on the video, the first lady, Denise Blue, she and her husband Kevin, who was also on the video just a little later, but they have been with us for, well, 4 years, 33 years now.
Okay, wow.
And you know, 30 minutes is plenty long to do this if you're not cut out for it.
Yeah.
So to do it for that long is just very amazing.
Yeah, yeah. There's, once again, that compassion Well, it's a God thing.
Well, it is.
It's God's thing. You know, it's just like what you were saying. I don't know if I'd be cut out. My wife and I would be cut out to have done such a thing in our lifetime. Raised my own children, you know, and...
Well, and, you know, when I think of caring patient, special people, I think of like CNAs in a nursing home.
Yeah.
But they go home after 8 hours. Our home parents are there 24 hours a day. They get time off, don't get me wrong, but the time off is just a small percentage of the time they spend with the children, especially in the summer when there is no school. So they're very busy and just amazing, wonderful people.
Now, what about, and I got several questions I want to ask you. Well, let me go here first. Well, then, whose vision was this? How did this get started this many years ago?
Well, there were two men in the Clarence area, Don McCain and Stan Way, who got their heads together, particularly Don. He was the real spearhead, but he quickly enlisted the help of Stan, who was good at printing. He was a minister in the area, and so he was a good pick to help get it started. Those guys went around and talked to churches in the region and said, hey, here's what we want to do, and we need your help, and to please help. And they did all the paperwork that's necessary, articles of incorporation, getting nonprofit status. The Clarence, one of the Clarence, Missouri churches, they provided most of the resources, financial resources, to build the home, and there was a lot of volunteer labor to build that first home. And that's the one that, coincidentally and kind of neatly, that Kevin and Denise have lived in all this time. And it's still holding up very well.
And how many homes are there now?
We have a total of 6.
6. Wow. Yeah. And they've been built over the years with, well, it takes income, right?
Yes, it does.
Finances to do this. How are you supported?
We are supported almost solely from individuals and churches. Initially, most of the support by far came from churches as a group, sending a check once a month, and we still operate that way. As time went on, more and more individuals started supporting as well. And so eventually more individuals than churches, but it really takes both. Some of the churches here in town, in Quincy, are helpful, and churches from all over the west central Illinois, northeast Missouri area, and southern southeast Iowa, so forth. They've been good to us for a long time. But even churches across the nation. And we receive children from all over the country as well.
Oh, okay.
But many of the states send support. And the way we have done that through the years is myself and some other fellows, we go to a church on Sunday or a civic group. One of the civic groups here in town, a couple of them have been helpful. We go to them and we tell the Shiloh story. And then we hope that they'll take us on for support, and probably most of them we've talked with have. And ideally that continues for a long time, and that's our grassroots support.
Right. Well, and we can see how God has blessed and sent the right people along at the right time, and just believe that He continually will. Because look at I'm sitting here thinking about how many children, or do you have any idea how many children over the years then have gone through Shiloh, been raised, and are out on their own?
I can give a rough guesstimate. Several years ago, we did the best job we could of counting, even though it was difficult because of files in different locations and this and that. But at that time it was 500. And I'm going to guess 600 to 700 total have been through the place.
How awesome is that?
So we've touched all those lives, and some of those kids are now in preaching ministry. Most of them are out there with jobs, productive citizens, raising a nice family. And it's a real treat to hear from them.
Imagine. I just imagine.
Thanks to the internet, you know, we're more apt to hear from them, and we just hear and see great things from them.
Yeah, I've read on your web page. I read, and anybody wants to go to their web page, just type in Shiloh Christian Children's Ranch, and it'll come up for you. But what some of the kids that have been there, well, adults now, but they're kind of their testimonies, kind of what they've said, and just awesome stories that they have, and what they've come through and how they were helped, you know, in this area. And along with that, then, what's the age limit here? What's the age that you take?
Well, we take them anywhere from birth up through 15 at the oldest. When a child is age 15, they're going to be out of high school before too long. We want to have children we can affect over a period of time and have a lasting impression. And so the youngest we have had are the three of the children we have right now, ages 1, 2, and 3. And they came to us from the West a couple of hours. And it's kind of an interesting story. We got the call on them. We just thought they sounded like a great 3 kids to get. And so 2 or 3 of our staff went over there. When they arrived, they noticed their heads were full of lice. They'd been living out of the back of a car, of all things.
Wow.
And it must have been a good-sized car, but that's where they slept. Their parents, the only jobs they had were little part-time things they could do.
Wow.
But thankfully, there was a minister in the area that had come from our area and had just landed in that area where the children were, and he let us bring the children in to wash the lice out of their heads so that they could travel lice-free across the state and come to be with us. And those kids are precious kids that everybody loves, and chances are those children will remain with us all the way up until graduation. So if that 1-year-old does, he will, excuse me, set the new record for length of stay. One of our children, Michael, who has been with us, came to us a long time ago. He came at age 4, and he has been the longest so far because he graduated from there.
Incredible. Wow.
But Michael, very intelligent young man. He has a master's degree in industrial safety. He left and went to work for a branch of Emerson Electric, which is a big company based out of St. Louis. And now he's, I believe, near Kansas City. I've kind of lost track of him, but doing very well.
Wow.
Good young man.
Yeah, and it was all Shiloh Christian Children's Ranch. And I like the term, too, that you've got in there, so Christian. Let's go here. How do you school them? Do they go to the public schools, or how's all that done?
Well, scholastically, it's kind of a mix. Some of the children go to public school when they come, if they can handle it, if they of good enough behavior, and academically they can make the grades. Some of the children go to an area Christian school at the Clarence site.
Okay.
Some of the kids are homeschooled, and then at our Cahokia, Missouri site, we have our own on-site school there.
Okay.
The children can go right there. So essentially, they walk out of their home door and go over to the school and get their education.
Okay. And now, how many houses are at Cahokia? Was there is there 1 or 2?
Well, we had 3. One of those homes became the Christian school. We remodeled it, refurbished it, and it became the school. So we have 2 homes there.
Okay.
And then 4 at our Clarence site.
Okay. Then what's the average of how many kids are in a home?
Well, I'll back up just a little to give you a little extra there. when a home parent set comes, we like for them to not have any children in their home. We want them to unpack, get oriented, get acquainted, learn from the other home parents, get some counseling, even though most of them who have come have had experience in fostering, that type thing. Then we give them one child, adjust, give them another child up to say 6 or 7. So many times there's a period there they say, okay, let's hold it right there for a while, because there is a lot of confusion, you know, and chaos and noise that comes from that many kids. They come home on a cold day from school and they're excited and so forth. So it, again, takes special people. Then after they adjust to the 6 or 7, so many times they say, okay, give us some more. And they take up to about 10.
Wow.
But we don't want to go over the 10, and that's plenty.
Yeah.
You know, again, somebody else's children. We could cram more in there, but we don't want to burn out the home parents that we have.
Do you have to turn them away sometimes?
Oh, every day we have to turn children away.
Wow.
We have developed a good reputation, and so we're a place that a lot of people turn to. A lot of juvenile officers know about us, school teachers, guidance counselors, ministers, just general public. And so they refer children to us. And so every day there are children. But so many times also those children are, say, delinquent children, or children that have been into drugs, or have a real sexual intense sexual problem / perversion.
Sure.
And we have little children there. We can't have those type. Children that are volatile or promiscuous, we turn them down.
Yeah.
But there are places we can refer those families, juvenile officers, whoever to. We have a list, and we tell them, you know, call them, and if you strike out there, we'll ask them for some other referrals, and eventually they'll come across a place.
Okay, and that was what I was thinking too. It's that, okay, we just don't turn them down, but we help them to perhaps find a place where that would be suited for them.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Years ago, all there were general homes. You know, going way back, it started with orphanages, which was anybody and everybody, and typically parents that had no children. I mean, children had no parents. They had died or something. Well, that developed into children with all kinds of situations, and those were still called orphanages or general purpose children's homes. But these days, there are a lot of specialization. There's still plenty of general places around, but like us, we specialize primarily with abused, neglected children. Some places take delinquent children with lockdown facilities and almost one-on-one ratio with staff to children. And so it's a specialized world, and we do too.
And right here, if I'm going to say it this way, right here in the Midwest, right here in Clarence, Missouri, just across the river here from Quincy, not very far, there's a place like this.
That's
and
right.
I think that's tremendous. That is awesome. And reaching out for the kid. Now, what's it cost to, if somebody wants to say, I've got a troubled kid, I'm going to send there, and they contact you, what's the cost?
Well, I'm pleased to say no charge. Our ministry is funded by again, the churches and individuals that want to help, and some businesses as well, miscellaneous smaller sources, but we don't charge. We do encourage people to, off of whom we're taking the children, to support, because we are taking a financial burden off them and placing it on us, and we have a limited amount of resources, financial and otherwise. So we encourage them to donate, and so many times if family services or a juvenile officer places them with us, they will make it essentially compulsory for the people to to donate to keep them interested in case there's a reunion someday.
Yeah.
You know, out of sight, out of mind, and when it's not costing you anything, well, life's pretty good, you know, with having the extra money. And Sandy or Billy is doing okay, so we'll just leave them there. And so,
you know, I'm here thinking as we're coming down to the last couple of minutes, you know, there's a lot of children that are taken. We just came through Christmas, and that would not have had a Christmas if it wasn't for a place like Shiloh Children's Christian Ranch over there at Clarence, Missouri, and Cahokia. And I'm going to just say again, maybe pastors, maybe you're working on your budget, or maybe you've already got your budget done, I don't know. But you're working on your budget and you say, well, we'd like to share some, we've got some more to share, and can I recommend the ranch over there? Just get a hold of them, just go on our webpage, get a hold of them, and listen, Jay here will help you out, because that's his position over there at Shiloh. And put it in your budget. Or if you're an individual, once again, as he said, individuals give. Because look at the children that are being touched and blessed. Because it takes money. It's just the way it is. And that would, I can't imagine, you know, those little kids living in the back of a car. But it's there's a lot of homeless kids. There's homeless people, but there's a lot of homeless kids too for that. And if you can support it anyway, pastors or other leaders in the church, whatever direction, pray about it and think about it. And I just want to say one more thing. You know, they're giving new life to these kids over there that would not have, this too, they would not have known the Lord Jesus Christ. If you notice, it's called the Shiloh Christian Children's Ranch. And they tell them about the Lord. It's a Christian ranch for the kids. And if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ yourself, if you need to come back to the Lord, or if you know somebody that maybe needs help in this area, give Jay a call. But if you need to come back to the Lord, you do that yourself right there where you're at. You can just say, Lord, forgive me of my sins. Come into my heart. Be the master of my life. And He will. He's there for you. God bless you for watching here today, Outreach Connection. And like I said, one more time, here we have a program where it's an outreach for our children, for life. And God has said, Jesus said, I've come to give life and to give it more abundantly with that. And Jay, I thank you so much.
Thank you, Gary,
for being with us. And I've got more questions, and this time went by so fast.
Yes, it did.
I've got more questions I'd like to ask you, but to get that word out. But I think people are aware now of who you are. God bless you for being with me.
Thanks to this station.
Contact us at Outreach Connection, WTJR 222 North 6th Street, Quincy, Illinois 62301.